I must say the timing was really perfect. They just brought me tea, and I was asked to come on stage. That's my luck, I guess. Most Reverend Dr. Linus Nelly, Chairman of NERYC, Most Reverend John Mulachira, our Archbishop of Guwahati, our Most Reverend Victor Lingdo, our Archbishop of Shillong Diocese, Most Reverend James Topil, our Bishop of Kohima, all our other Reverend Fathers who are present out here, especially Reverend Father John Berman, all the officials of the ICYM Regional Committee, the National Committee, all delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how much time I should take because it's been a very, very long day. So I will try to be as short as possible. But as you know, you made a big mistake calling a politician. I will keep you here for some time, I assure you. But when Reverend Father John Berman was felicitating everyone, you know, I think there were lesser people left to felicitate than the people who were felicitated, I think. He felicitated almost everyone. And I was telling our Archbishop, Dr. Linus Nelly, that maybe you should have actually used that dowel. We would have saved half an hour. And I really, when I heard the speech, the sermon given by Most Reverend Dr. Linus Nelly, you know, I didn't miss a single word he said. I was absorbing everything that he mentioned. It was so deeply intellectual as well as religious. And I was wondering, I wonder who was his teacher that he came out to be so good. And then he came up on stage and he revealed it himself. So I know, Your Grace, where you got all those, qualities from. Friends, I want to be this time a bit intellectual, I should say, and I will really request you to please allow me to play a video. It's a bit long. It's about 7 minutes. 7 minutes. It's a video, and I will speak about it once that video is done. But I really urge you to listen very carefully to this young boy who spoke about, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, just yesterday. He spoke yesterday, and it deeply touched me, what he said, and is very, very relevant to today's program, especially the theme, Pilgrims of Hope. So I would urge if you can just play that video. It's about 7 minutes. Please bear with it.
I'm Isaac Surong. I'm a recovering drug addict. I would like to thank the various departments that organized this occasion where I got this opportunity to tell my story. So I won't take too much of your time. I will just go on it quickly. I'm sorry, I'm quite nervous, so just bear with me. Yeah. So, like Doctor said, addiction is a disease and it's an illness. So yeah, it progresses through time, and it's such a disease that it's very hard to diagnose. And the only symptom that you can really diagnose it with is the starting of using of mind-altering, mood-altering substances. So my addiction started at a young age. I was barely 11, 12 when I started drinking alcohol. There was a person who used to hide alcohol near my house. I used to steal that alcohol and I would drink it. But at that time, I was a promising kid, but I had problems with anxiety, insecurities. So, and I was very fascinated with the things the older kids were doing. So they were drinking. So when I got the chance to drink, I just drank it for the cool factor. But when after drinking it, I understood that it numbed my anxiety, it numbed my insecurities, and I went on with that. And but then later on, it progressed to another substance because alcohol was little harder to hide from the family. So I started smoking weed, and that went on for years since I was 11 to the age of 16, 17. And when I reached 16, 17, alcohol and marijuana did not do the job anymore. So I had, at that time I was a bit smarter, so I sought psychiatric help. And that's when I got relief from the symptoms, from the anxiety, from the disabilities that I was having mentally. And then, but due to the nature of me not knowing I have this illness, I did not use the psychiatric help the way it was supposed to be. So I abused the psychiatric medications. So after that, that also didn't give me a lasting effect, and I was on the search for another thing, another drug, something that would relieve me. And being in a state where drugs are the only drug you can find is heroin, that's what I found. I found heroin, and the moment I first took in heroin, it was like a piece of me that I found. I thought that this is what I was looking for. And at the start, I made a promise to myself that I would not get addicted, I would not become a thief, I would not become a liar, I would not get into it too much, I would just use it as a tool to help me through my disorders. So that didn't last very long. I had become dependent very quickly. Within the 2 to 3 weeks, I had become dependent on it, and I sought help from that point itself. But then I went through multiple relapses. Even after seeking help, I went through multiple relapses. I kept relapsing, and I did not know why. It wasn't until the moments where I hit rock bottom that I really looked for help. I had started injecting, and my spiritual bankruptcy was so bad that my first syringe, my first injection part was where I could not find a syringe. I could only, it was locked down, I could not find a syringe. No harm reduction facilities were open at that time. The syringe I found was from a homeless guy, and this syringe was used. I did not care anymore because of the spiritual bankruptcy. Heroin had brought me to a place where I did not care about my health anymore. I did not care about living anymore. So I started injecting, and that's when everything started to fall apart, and my life became hell because I could not live without using, but to live I needed to use. So it kept going that way until I found out about a support group. A support group had approached me and asked me to come to their meetings. So I went to the meeting, and that's where I heard about addiction being a disease, and I said, okay, but I don't think I'm a sick person because I thought that I could still stop on my own. So again, after going to a few support group meetings, I relapsed again, and again I was on in rock bottom again, and I was living hell every day. Every day was hell. I had to inject more than 10 times a day because I wanted to manage my dosage. I did not clean myself anymore. I did not take care of my health anymore. And luckily, through the grace of God, I did not contract any diseases like HIV, hepatitis, and all. But then that's when I asked God for help the first time. I asked God for help. So my grandmother, after in desperation, sought help from a member from the support group who had told her to send me to rehab. That's when I went to rehab, and then in rehab I lived like hell because at that time, you know about the past controversies that have happened with rehabs in Assam. So I was in one of those kinds of rehabs where it was torture, mental torture. So, but at the same time, they were teaching me about my disease. So it clicked. Yeah, yes, I am an addict. I had to surrender my will. I surrendered my will. I surrendered my will to the care of God. And that's when the turning point started. I came out of rehab. My recovery didn't start in rehab. In rehab, it was just forcefully done because I was just forcefully away from drugs. But then when I came out, that's when the battle started. The first year was so hard. Every day I wanted to use. Every day the demon said, the devil said, go and use. It will be different this time. But I had the hope in God. I had hope in God, and I kept going. I kept going, and through the grace of God, through the support of my fellowship from the support group, a person like me who could not stay clean for more than 2 to 3 days. Doctor knows here that how many times I had relapses. Even Dr. Pakha knows how many times I had to meet him. And for that person, now I'm on my 3rd year of recovery. I am on my 3rd year of recovery, and it's entirely by the grace of God and the help of the fellowship. And I would like to thank everyone, each and every one of you here, for listening to my story. I know I could go on hours to tell you about my story, but then I don't. You guys also don't have the time. I also can't elaborate that much. I'm not that good. So thank you for giving me this opportunity once again, and thank you to Meghalaya Users Forum for also empowering me in my recovery. Thank you.
Felt the urge. Sorry, I had to play that for you. It's a bit long. But I think the message at the end, when he mentioned that I surrendered to God and I had faith in God, when I came out of the rehab, it's not that I was out of drugs. It is when I surrendered to God and had faith in Him that I started to recover. I find this person's testimony to be so inspiring. I know there was a bit of audio issue. You could not hear everything he said. But at the crux of what he was trying to share with all of us was that he was not walking or trying to do things with what he saw or what he was told about, what the psychiatrist told him, or what the rehab person told him. For him, he had the faith. It was the faith, it was not the sight. of what was there in front, but knowing that he surrendered to God, that he was able to move forward. I mean, Isaac, this youngster's name is Isaac Surong. Isaac's story is really amazing because, his is kind of a journey, you can say in a desert of despair, in a kind of a valley of fear, almost like a mountain of uncertainty. And yet he was able to, carry this kind of a light that no darkness could extinguish. And that's really a pilgrim of hope, is what I personally believe. And I think he's a great, great example, you can say an epitome of what faith can do. And being a pilgrim of hope, believing and surrendering yourself to God. And as he said, that it was not in rehab, but it was when I came out of rehab, when I surrendered to God, when I prayed to God, that I started to recover. And today, for 3 years, he has been without it. Second, apart from being a pilgrim of hope in his own life, Isaac is today a pilgrim of hope and a beacon of hope for others to know that if he can do it, with that faith that he had, anybody can do it. And the third aspect, which I think is so critical when it comes to the theme that we were discussing today, is exactly what Bahek has mentioned. The example of Saint Teresa, of how she had selflessly given herself to the service of the poorest of the poor and become, as he said, a pilgrim of hope. I hope that in today's program, as well as the next 2 to 3 days that you will be here, I hope that all of you will be able to become pilgrims of hope. Even in small ways, it's about, the care that you give. It's about the prayer. It's about the purposeful actions that you do. Small things that are there can bring hope and can bring change. And especially in today's world, where there is so much of problems, issues, so much of concern, so many problems that's facing us, I'll tell you that small aspect of hope can really take us very, very far. So I'm so happy. It was, of course, His Holiness Pope Francis who had, in the 2025 Jubilee, mentioned the theme of Pilgrims of Hope. And we are so happy that we're able to take this forward. And today, the ICYM and the regional committee is actually having this program. And I'm so glad to be part of this. I thank each and every one of you for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to be here today, this evening. The second part is my small suggestions that I would like to give, especially to the youth. I only have 2 to 3 suggestions which I always share with the youth. I start with a story which I share very often. It's not a story that people have not heard me speak, but I'm very motivated with this story. And that's why I use this story. Maybe you have heard me give this story out before. But this story is really about football. And it's a story about 2 teams playing football for about 3 hours. And after they played football for 3 hours, the score was 0-0. And the reason the score was 0-0 is because they were playing football without goalpost. So they were kicking the ball from one corner to the other without a goalpost. So there were no goals scored. Friends, if you do not have a goal in life, if you don't have a purpose in life, you will be working day and night, and you'll be like those teams, not knowing where you want to go in life, and you will be not able to score any goal or achieve the goals that you would like to achieve. My message to the youth today is, make sure that you have a purpose in your life. Make sure you set your goals and work towards those goals. It's not just individuals. The ICYM has goals, and we work towards those goals. The Catholic Church has goals. We set our targets and we work towards those targets. Governments have goals. If you look at the vision document of 2032, that's when Meghalaya will turn 60 years old. It's a very thick document. It talks about how we will achieve, what we will achieve, and what is the goal for every single sector. Whether tourism sector, agriculture sector, road sector, water sector, power sector, health, education, in every sector, what Meghalaya should achieve and where should we be in 2032. We have the entire plan and program in front of us. And it's a very steep target, let me tell you. Very, very steep target. And people actually laugh at us. But I tell them that if we don't target for 90 or 100%, we will not get even half of that. If we just want to pass an exam, then you will just pass an exam. So I urge all of you that, number one, make sure that as a youth, you must have a purpose and a goal in front so that you are having a target on where you want to go. I urge the youngsters of the Northeast, this is something that I'm deeply concerned with, is that for us, sometimes we fail to seize the opportunities that are there in front. Sometimes we fail to believe in ourselves that we actually can do it. We sometimes undermine the capacity that we have. We look at ourselves and we feel sorry for ourselves sometimes and say, we are tribals, we can't do it. And that itself is a failure. We have failed before even we have started. I want the youth of the Northeast to want to compete at the top. I remember late P.S. Sangma used to tell me, this is in close quarters, we just used to sit together, and talk as father and son. And you know what he used to tell me? Of course, don't repeat this, because then politically it will be a big damage for me. You know what he used to tell me? He said, Babang is my, home name. Babang, what is maybe the biggest problem for our children? I said, Baba, I don't know. What is it? He said, reservation. He said, reservation is maybe one of the biggest problems for our children. Because of reservation, we don't want to compete. And because reservation is there, we just believe that we will get the seats that we want. And he used to tell me, the day our youth from the Northeast will go beyond reservation, will go beyond the mindset that let reservation be there. It's not that I'm saying you should remove it. Absolutely not. But I'm saying the mindset of being able to believe that you can compete with the best in the country and in the world. I would want our youth to have that challenge. How many entrepreneurs do we have? I'm sorry to say this, I don't want to sound anyway communal, but why is it that we have to wait for somebody else to start that business and start that entrepreneurship and enterprise in our states? When will our youth start to do that? I would want the ICYM also to have training sessions, to have discussions on enterprise, on entrepreneurship, on business. I can tell you, of course, I'm not trying to compare or trying to, bring out any comparison with other states. But one of the biggest programs that we have is an entrepreneurship program in my state. I believe the way forward for our state and for our region is to promote enterprise, to promote entrepreneurship. And we must do it. We must go out of our way to do it. And I think it is time that our youth also starts believing in themselves that they can actually do it. So I urge, have a purpose, have a goal, have a focus, and you may change your goal 10 years from now. That's fine. But at least you know what you want to do now, and you'll work towards it. Start to be enterprising. Very, very important for our youth. If we're not going to be enterprising, I'll tell you, we'll be left far, far behind. Do it. You may fail, but you will get up again. You will again start to do things. I can tell you, I am an entrepreneur by spirit, let me tell you. I've always believed in starting business. The sad part is I've always failed in it. I failed in all the businesses that I've done. That's the truth. And maybe I'm just a bad businessman, maybe. But I just kept going. I failed in my politics. I have lost the first election that I contested. And I thought that I will win that election because I thought I was late P.A. Sangma's son. How can I lose? And I didn't campaign. I didn't meet the people. I didn't touch the grassroots. I didn't go from village to village. I just used to give to a big program, give a long lecture like I'm doing now, and go back home and stick some posters. And I lost that election. And I can tell you that that loss in that election was maybe the greatest turning points in my life. I don't think I would be here today if I had not lost that election, I can tell you. But more importantly, when I lost that election, I cried for 2 months because I could not digest it. But after 2 months, I picked up the pieces. I told myself, I'm not going to accept this, and I'm going to change this. And I worked for next 2 years, day and night, and of course, then I won the next election. And that's how life is. So please, my young ICYM members, all the Catholic youths who are out here, we'd like to see more of our Catholic youths come up with enterprises, start their own businesses, become, icons in the Northeast, and we can do it. In Meghalaya, we're trying to support as many as possible. Many, many programs are happening. Of course, we can try in other states also to support in whatever way possible. But this is something that I would like to see. And last, of course, I want to also share, which again is the same message and similar message to what Bahek had mentioned to you, that whatever you do in life, whatever you achieve in life, at the end of the day, it is about being a good human being. If people were to ask me that what is the one quality that you would always like to see in the youth, especially our youth of the Northeast, I told them it would be humility. Because if that is not there in your life, I'll tell you, everything is meaningless. You may get all the power, you may become the chief minister of the state, but if you don't have your feet and your ears on the ground, you're not going to sustain it. Things will change very fast. So whatever you do in life, I only hope and pray that you will always have fear in your heart, fear of the Lord, respect for elders, humility in every situation, and become good human beings. And I'm sure the church, ICYM, is working towards that direction. And I can see today the sea of youngsters in front of us, the hope of the Northeast, the hope of the nation. India is young, but Northeast is even younger. Maximum of our population in the Northeast is Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and Gen Beta. Whereas if you look at the rest of the country, most of the population is the millennial and a bit part of the Gen Z. So we are here as Gen Alpha and Gen Beta and Gen Z are the maximum. So if you look at the population, it's a pyramid like this. The lowest population is the maximum. Meghalaya, for example, out of 38 lakhs, okay, 38 lakh people, 18 lakh people are below the age of 20. That means 50% of my population is below the age of 20. There are only 6 lakh people in my state, including Bahek and myself and Most Reverend Victor Lingdo, who are above the age of 45. And I think hardly about 50,000 people who are above the age of 70. So you can imagine the kind of potential we have. And I keep telling people, the youth is our greatest asset. The youth is our greatest challenge. It all depends on how we nurture it. If we nurture it well, Nagaland, Meghalaya, Manipur, Mizoram, the Northeast and India will shine. Because this youth will be the greatest constructive force that we have seen in this world. And if we can't nurture it, and if they get in the wrong direction and start doing the wrong things, then they will become the biggest destructive force that the world has seen. Same youth, matter of how we look at it, and matter of how we nurture it. And that's really what ICYM, that's why it's so important. That's why when I was told that, sir, please come, I said, I will absolutely come. And I'm going to the program in October in Kerala also, in the National ICYM program, because I want to talk to the youth. I want to tell our youth that this is the opportunity. Let us not let go. And the theme, so rightly chosen by late Pope Francis, Pilgrims of Hope, is so appropriate on an occasion like this. And I'm sure that we will all achieve that in the days to come. And ICYM will lead you, will direct you, will nurture you to be there as the constructive force to take our region and our state and our country forward. I wish you all the very best. May God bless each and every one of you. And before I conclude, Father John had given so many mementos to everybody. Somebody has to give him something also. It's really, really unfair. So I know this also is really wrong. I should not be doing this. And all the archbishops are here. I feel very scared to do this. When I went to Rome, and I came back from Rome in Pope Francis' funeral, when I met Nuncio, so he blessed and he gave me this rosary. So I would like to hand over this rosary to Father John, though actually he's supposed to give me a rosary. I hope you know that. So I expect a rosary from him also, but I thought this is a meaningful memento and a meaningful gift from my side. I cannot call it, as a religious thing because it's not really for me to do it. He's supposed to do it for me.
I'll do it.
Yeah, but I would like to present this small rosary blessed by our nuncio who gave it to me, and I would like to give it to Father John for all the work that he's been doing. And let's give him a round of applause, really. And he'll be going at the national level now, right? He will be the big boss. Yeah.
Thank you, your blessings.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Yeah, so with that, once again, I wish all of you the very best. It's really late, and so I'll conclude my speech. Thank you to our archbishops who are here, and thank you to all our bishops and all the reverend fathers, and most importantly to all the delegates for patiently being here and listening to my speech and to be part of this program. I wish this program the very best. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. for your words and sharing the topic, which is the need of the hour.